The Biden administration announces a major great plan for healthcare and also one for stimulus. And that announcement comes on the heels of a counterproposal from the Republican Party. It's not particularly good. In fact, it's so low that it's even low for Mitch McConnell standards. Meantime, will Wall Street react appropriately to stimulus, or is Wall Street betting on no stimulus? A new Congressional Budget Office report out says the economy may not need stimulus. I have all the details for you in a major recording from Wall Street to Main Street, from my home to yours. This is a continuation of Early Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's 6:30 a.m. on the East Coast, 3:30 on the West Coast, and thank you for joining me for the continuation of Early Mornings LALATE. There's so much hitting across the board. Whether it is the downturn of those stocks that were being pushed by an online message board, or whether it is the growing concerns about a variant for the virus called the South African variant, I have all the details across the board for you, including that counterproposal from the Romney group. With that, well, make sure you subscribe. I have a lot to cover today, so I don't want you to miss a single recording. I'll be recording all throughout the day, from 1 a.m. today to 1 a.m. the next day. Started with EIDL this morning, and I came back with FPC. I came later with first early morning show, and after this one, I'm back at 8:30 with Mornings LA. So make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Power, Hawk, or Calcino VIP. Over there is an instant premiere, and as an instant premiere, you can chat with your fellow members about what you think is going on with all the breaking news. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here this morning is that Wall Street is reacting to the turbulence of a few strange trades. Those trades included stocks like AMC and GameStop and Nokia. Among those stocks that were being pushed, along with a strange, peculiar event called Silver Squeeze yesterday, that started with a message board called Reddit and a sub-part of that message board website called Wall Street Bets. People on that message board had been pushing GME and other stocks to go higher. Well, they did, and then they didn't. AMC suffered on Monday. That GameStop took the biggest hit on Monday as the trading of the stock was more opened after it had been restricted by the popular trading app Robinhood that had restricted the number of trades you could do. Once those trades were opened up progressively, the stock fell more, and after hours in overnight trading, the stock fell even further. This is signaling concerns that there could be a bubble about to burst on Wall Street. But the concern is not so much just that. The concern is whether people will now say, don't need stimulus. Thank you so much, but don't need you. See you later. Why? A new report out of the Congressional Budget Office. This Congressional Budget Office report, which is nonpartisan, of course, says that the U.S. economy is growing really well, and the numbers suggest we're back to almost normal without stimulus. This sounds exactly like the type of report Mitch McConnell would love. I don't need any stimulus for you. Here's the CBO report. What does the CBO report say, released yesterday, late yesterday? Real GDP rose 3.7% in 2021. GDP growth should be at 2.6 over the next 5 years. Unemployment rate will fall to 5.3 in the later part of 2021, meaning that almost 94% of the U.S. economy will be employed. Wow. And then saying it's going to drop another further to 4%, meaning 96% of the population will be employed by 2024. Inflation will stay stagnant at 2% through 2023. Well, this is quite interesting because this is not consistent with what Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, had said last week. He said unemployment numbers are not particularly good. Reemployment numbers are not good. that you need stimulus checks because what we're seeing is that people who are unemployed and are low income are not getting reemployed, and that the people we're seeing getting new jobs or jobs back are people who are already making 6 or 7 figures before the pandemic. The CBO report says that their estimates show because the downturn was not as severe as expected and because the first stage of recovery took place sooner, it was stronger than expected. Well, the report does not say you shouldn't have stimulus, but the report certainly is something a Republican platform would love to endorse. Why? Because Republicans yesterday debuted their plan, and in it, a measly stimulus check, $1,000 a person, and not particularly for everyone either. In December 2020, the Republicans and the Democrats met together and got together the second stimulus package. And in there was a $600 stimulus check for people who made $73,000 approximately or less 2019 tax earnings. Well, what does the new Republican plan say? That's too much money for people. And we're going to cut it more. What? They're going to cut it to people who only make less than $40,000 a year, $1,000 per individual, $500 for children. Get ready to cut. Well, what else are they cutting, Republicans? They don't have FPUC retro. They don't have SSI and SSDI. They don't have hazard pay. They don't have business grants. They don't have paid sick leave. They don't have student aid supplement. So what do they have? They don't have any of that. They have the continuation of FPUC at $300 a week to September. Yeah, exactly the status quo, just more months. And have another round of PPP, which is just totally ridiculous. There is PPP unused under CARES Act 1 that's sitting at SBA still, $800 billion of it. And there's PPP in the second round currently. Well, second stimulus package still sitting around unused. Just go get it. No, we need another round of PPP. Every time that I talk about PPP on this channel, understand this is a big ticket item. It's fortunes, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. So when they say we're going to give a stimulus package that's narrowly tailored, they literally mean 99.99% of it is PPP, and then there's a little bit of this left for something else. Doesn't make any sense. Well, what about, so what will come of the plan? Not going to see much of a light of day. The question is, why is the Biden camp even acknowledging the existence of such a ridiculous bill? It doesn't make very clear. But yesterday brought some really good news. There was some really good news. Yesterday, Joe Biden announced that he's reopening the Obamacare enrollment period for the first time in the spring. Wow. So if you don't know, Obamacare enrollment is usually November, December. But for the first time ever, he's doing it starting February 15th for 3 months. This is because they understood that people were suffering during the pandemic and fall of last year. They were slow on funds, and that they want them give them another opportunity to get Obamacare if they want to right now. Again, that'll start opening on February 15th for 3 months. Next, also really good news about food stamps. I delivered this over the weekend, but since it was such an obscure story that dropped in out of nowhere, I just don't think that people may have heard it. So I'm going to keep on repeating it. A great new executive order or memorandum signed by Joe Biden last Friday said, you know what, I'm going to do something great. What is he going to do? He's going to give SNAP benefits for food to people, to children 6 or younger who would normally not get it. Normally on a SNAP, they don't get benefits for food for 6 or under. So he expanded SNAP to include that age bracket. That's incredibly great news. It doesn't end there. Second, he's going to call it an extension of PBET, which is generally usually for kids staying home from school. Third, it's going to get an increase to it. So it could be upwards of about $134 a month. Fourth, he's making it national. Fifth, as early as Friday, 22 new states applying for the program. So if your state's not on it yet, don't worry, more states are applying. And finally, it's retroactive to August 2020. If only you could do FPUC retro as well. Lord. Then we turn to hazard pay. Just really peculiar here when we look at hazard pay, not making sense. Why Mitt Romney, who appeared on broadcast news, appeared in papers, appeared in interviews, wrote a hazard pay bill in 2020, and Joe Biden has a hazard pay bill in his plan. So when Mitt Romney introduced his counter plan, the Republican counter plan yesterday, no hazard pay in it. Why? It's making viewers very confused why Harris and Romney, who write these things in 2020 when the pandemic's worse, are now not giving you anything, considering they never got it to you in 2020. I mean, you never got the hazard pay in 2020, so it's not like he paid it to you and he doesn't want to give it to you again. He never got it to you in 2020. So why is he just taking it back? Why is Harris taking her thing back, the multiple stimulus checks? Viewers just don't understand it. Really not clear. Finally, the virus. The concern, as you see here today, is that the virus is really just not settling down. The vaccination rate of the United States is not good. The numbers are not improving. Item number one. Item number two, Joe Biden is not going to meet his benchmark of 100 million vaccinations in 100 days because he doesn't have 100 million doses. Number three, he has 25 million doses missing, confirms Politico. Number four, vaccine companies cannot produce the extra vaccines he wants in the first 100 days. Number five, he predicated his stimulus package based upon reopening schools and businesses on these vaccine uses in the first 100 days. We're already 21 days into this, and we're nowhere near this vaccination rate. Finally, the variant. Why are you talking about stimulus with no consideration of a variant which requires people to revaccinate in 6 months from now? Yes, the current vaccinations do not sufficiently guard you against the South African variant of COVID-19 after 6 months. You have to revaccinate it. With all those issues at hand, the question is, why is Joe not going bigger and bolder? I can't answer it. But maybe perhaps over the course of today, we might get the answers. Maybe we'll see the bill. Maybe the bill will get called for a vote. Maybe we'll see some progress on something other than, here's a new stamp for you. I'm next back live at 8:30 a.m. with a continuation on mornings LALATE, and then at 12 noon with home LALATE. Bring your questions, bring your comments. I love to see you. If you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcium VIP. Also like this video. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. This is the most comprehensive channel there is out there with details from stimulus minutia to stimulus bold and stimulus beautiful. I'm covering the left and the right and all the details in between, from Wall Street to Main Street, my home to yours. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. And I'll see you next on Mornings LALATE.